The Houston Texans absolutely demolished the Tennessee Titans. What a great win, including a shutout. But here are the 5 biggest takeaways from that game. And remember, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe for more daily Texans content. But let's get straight into this, starting with the title and the thumbnail of this video. Woody Marks needs to be running back one. This was his breakout game. 16 carries for 69 yards and a touchdown, and 3 receptions for 50 yards and a touchdown. We all knew he was a great pass-catching back, but I would be lying if I told you that I thought he was going to be as good between the tackles as he is, or even as shifty as he is, or even as intelligent of a runner. He is an extremely good pick, well worth the 3rd-round pick that they used to trade up for him. And honestly, this is why it was so frustrating in weeks 1, 2, and 3 when we know they really like this rookie and they refuse to play him seemingly because he's a rookie. But that's what this graph is showing. In the blue, we have Woody Marks by snap count. In the yellow, we have Nick Chubb by snap count as well. You can see how Woody Marks has just continued to climb. One big thing to note here is Chubb's snaps haven't really been affected. This is kind of reminiscent of their carries as well as receptions as well. But the reality is they are just going to run the ball a little bit more. I do think we'll see Chubb maybe still around 45 to 40% of the snap count, and maybe Woody will reach into that 55% or 60%. Like I said, I think that he should stay the running back one. Maybe not by a large margin because they want to use Chubb as more of a punishing runner. But I mean, Woody can lay a hit too. That's the thing. He's also, really good at picking up blitzes and stunts and just pass blocking. So we saw, that clip going around where he just completely flattened the blitzer. So that's another good aspect of his game. And what Woody Marks allows them to do is allows them to continue to run the football. And I don't think that's a great idea if you're just relying on Chubb for 30 carries. But Woody Marks has the ability to be a huge positive impact for this team because he can handle a lot of those carries. So that's takeaway number 1. Now moving on to takeaway number 2 is this offensive line is still a work in progress, or WIP. Cam Robinson got traded today to the Browns. Now, social media blew up a little bit over that trade. What I will tell you is it's not surprising. They wanted to trade Cam Robinson before. They finally got a suitor. Obviously, you switch 6th and 7th round picks in 2027, so that's peanuts. But you get rid of his contract, which is really good. And the reality is Cam Robinson did not want to be in Houston. So for everyone saying that they should have just kept him, he's a good depth piece and yada, 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 the reality is he's a human being. He did not want to be in Houston. He did not want to be a backup in his kind of prove-it-year deal. He wants a chance to play, which he'll be able to do on the Browns since their offensive linemen have had some injuries. So he wants to be able to play to get that next contract. But that's not where I'm talking about mainly for this offensive line piece. I still wanted to address it. What I really want to talk about is the Lincoln Tomlinson getting seemingly benched, for Juice Scruggs. Now, I said this when they first brought in Lincoln Tomlinson to play. I said he is not good enough. He came from the Seahawks last year, one of the worst offensive lines in the league. And unfortunately for the Texans, Lincoln Tomlinson has not looked great. You see him play 100% of the snap counts in week 1 and week 2. Then in week 3, he only plays around 43%. They see Juice Scruggs. They start rotating him in. And now in week 4, his snap count has gone down to 20%, with Juice Scruggs at a whopping 80% of those snaps. I do believe that Juice Scruggs should be the starter over Lincoln Tomlinson. I think this should have been done from the get-go. Obviously, Lincoln Tomlinson is a vet. He doesn't miss games. He was with D'Amico on the 49ers, which is probably a big reason he got signed, to be honest. But that being said, Juice Scruggs might actually be better. The offensive line definitely looked better in the second half. And also, the one other thing is it makes Caserio look better if his 2nd round pick is actually playing. Like, these are all good things for Nick Caserio. So go play the young guy, go play Juice Scruggs, play the dude you drafted. Lincoln Tomlinson's on a 1-year deal anyway. That's fine. Just play the right guys. Similar to how you need to play Woody Marks, play the young, play the right guys at the positions. Who cares about these vets? Also, Ariante Ursery. The other angle to look at the Cam Robinson trade is that they have belief in Ariante Ursery. I don't think, again, the main reason they made this trade is because they believe Ariante Ursery is some immediate franchise left tackle, but I think they are happy enough with Ursery to be able to be afforded the ability to trade Cam Robinson. Obviously, I believe in Ursery. I think he can be this franchise left tackle. I'd say 2 of his games have gone well, 2 of his games not so much. But that being said, Ariante Ursery, D'Amico said himself, he's got a lot to improve on, but he's a rookie left tackle. That will happen, and that will come with time. Okay, moving on to the next takeaway. Matt Burke called the defense. Matt Burke called the defensive plays, and no one knew. And that's how you know he was doing a good job, because Matt Burke called the plays and no one knew, because the defense performed just as good, even better than they have previously, essentially pitching a shutout. Now, D'Amico was asked about this, and I think this is important. The main takeaway here was that someone asked him, okay, if Matt Burke is calling the plays, does this mean that you have more attention to the offense or to the other aspects of the game? D'Amico said, no, we have a game plan, yada, yada, yada. I just find that hard to believe. I wonder if Matt Burke is calling the plays because D'Amico wants to look at the offense and he wants to put more pressure on Nick Caley and the offense to perform. I think that's what's happening. Matt Burke, hats off to him. He did a great job. Yes, he has called plays before. I don't know if he's called whole games. I'm assuming he has, but it was really unnoticeable. The defense pitched a shutout, and they have allowed 52 points over 4 games, which is the first best, the highest ranking in the NFL. So just tremendous job to Matt Burke stepping up. And we have to think that D'Amico is putting more pressure on this offense, willing to look at it with kind of a closer nitpicky view when it comes to this team. And so I think that's fine. Matt Burke has shown you that he can do it. Another takeaway is the Noel and Higgins usage. Now, Higgins had a touchdown on 1 target. Noel had several plays called for him, but ultimately ends up with 1 reception and -2 yards. That should say yards. I think they should give these 2 players more attention. Like I said, I think good things happen when you play your rookies, when you play Higgins. Higgins, every time he's been targeted, besides the one kind of fluky interception that might not have even been an interception, when you target Higgins, good things happen. Whether it's big plays, whether it's touchdowns. It's a small sample size, but he was the 34th pick in the NFL draft. He needs to be utilized more. I know Watson is injured, but please don't play Watson over him. And don't play Berrios over Noel either. Watson and Berrios need to sit behind Higgins and Noel because A, I do believe these 2 rookie receivers are better than them, and B, even if they're not, they need the experience. You need to invest in the youth of this team instead of the journeyman. They do love Watson though, so I don't know if they'll be able to quit him. One other thing I'll say about Noel is he only has 9 yards in 4 games. Again, he's not getting very many opportunities. He's only playing maybe 10% of the offensive snaps. His biggest impact is on punt return. But I'm telling you, he's a good receiver. He can stretch the field. They don't use him vertically at all, which is kind of annoying, and I really do think they should. So I liked what I saw, though, from Nick Caley actually targeting Noel a couple of times in this Texans game, but you need to increase it. You still need to increase it. It is not enough, and that's the main takeaway there. And then finally, the last takeaway I'll have is the secondary back on track? They only gave up 1 big play. That was to Elic Iomenor. Through the air at least on the first drive when Cam Ward kind of escapes Will Anderson. Other than that, you really didn't see much else. I mean, they only allowed 108 passing yards. Cam Ward was held to a 27.4 QBR, which is awful, only a 38% completion percentage. Like, MJ Stewart stepped up, he played his role, he deflected a pass, he was where he needed to be. And the main takeaway here is this secondary can be better without C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I'm not going to say MJ Stewart's as talented as C.J. Gardner-Johnson, but C.J. Gardner-Johnson was making mistakes in walkthroughs, and what a difference it can make when you have a guy who actually knows what he's supposed to be doing, who actually knows who the correct person to guard is. D'Amico Ryans mentioned that in his press conference as well. He said we didn't have any hand grenades going off, meaning, guys not being in the right spot in the secondary, which was pretty much a direct shot to C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Like, let's be real. C.J. Gardner-Johnson obviously not worth the friction, not worth the risk. So overall, that's the last takeaway I have. And then the final thing I will say is just take everything with a grain of salt. This is a Titans team that is probably the worst team in the league, and that's the reality. But still, you get back on track, you get a win, you get momentum in that 4th quarter, and we'll see if we can carry that into a very, very, very depleted Ravens team. They're going to miss Roquan Smith. They're going to miss a Pro Bowl D tackle. Lamar Jackson might not even play. You might have Cooper Rush at the quarterback spot. So this season can be turned around very easily if they play the Cooper Rush-led Ravens. And even then, you have to be on your toes. We've played Cooper Rush before when he was on the Cowboys last season. We were able to win that. But you still got to be on your toes, even though they're kind of looking very vulnerable right now. But that's all I got for this video, guys. Overall, I think the Texans did what they needed to do. They beat the team that's bad. They blew them out. Let's go. Get back on track. And hopefully they can, they can close out the Ravens as well and come to 2-3. And I think fans would feel a lot better about that going into the bye week. So that's all I got for this video, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one, man. Peace out.